takes on the right hand up from France. They've both been on great form today, but you have to say APITHY is the favorite for this match.
I would think so, but SAMELE had a really nice match, a nice bout in the quarters. Let's see if he can keep it going. Carm, I love those little pictures they put in the box of the competitors. You think maybe they can do that for the commentators going forward?
No one wants to see my face, Jeff. Face for radio. Underway then in this semi-final. But APITHY striking first, just hitting the funny bone of Luigi SAMELE. Oh, just nicked under the guard there, just on the wrist, and SAMELE patting his opponent on the side, still saying, sorry, mate, I know that was a bit of a fluke.
SAMELE went for the riposte there. Might have parried it, missed on the riposte. It's 2-1 for APITHY.
Well, he had nowhere else to go, APITHY. He had to stop on the line, otherwise he was going to gift his opponent a hit. And SAMELE landing on the attack.
And most of the time, the fencers aren't going to go over the line, but the problem is you're running out of options. You have to almost guess what your opponent's going to do and take a chance. It's a risk. It's the worst place to be, and you don't want to. I don't think APITHY will go back there too often.
Ooh. Ran onto the tip then that time. One of those rare occasions when you're on a long attack that you don't score the hit. Small hesitation there from APITHY. He questions Marius FRA to see whether SAMELE went to look for the blade, but he didn't. Make miss then from SAMELE. He seemed to get his feet stuck, and FRA just called hold.
I thought SAMELE's his knee went down to the piece. That's what it looked like. Let's take a look. Yeah, just got stuck.
This is motoring along at a decent pace. Mostly in the middle, though.
Everything in the middle. Oh, two times SAMELE pushed APITHY to the end.
SAMELE walking into the middle with his arm back, raises his hand in the air in frustration. He knows that that was poor execution.
Toujours l'attaque de droite, says FRA, which means it's still the attack by APITHY, even though there was a hesitation early in the action. He reclaimed the right of way. And that was a beauty by APITHY. Made a nice parry and second the low line and made the riposte. And SAMELE went for the low line parry, same as APITHY did to him, only this time APITHY went around and scored.
Well, APITHY keen as mustard in the first half of that match, harking from Dijon in France. Usually coached by the head coach, Jean-Philippe Doel, but he's actually got the assistant coach out with him as we look back on a fine performance from the Frenchman. He's really come back into some super form.
He seems to be at the top of his game from a decade ago. He looks like he's exactly the same as last time, you know, from 15 years ago almost.
It's certainly looking like he's in business now. He was the world number 8 coming into this. I fancy that his ranking may well go up a little bit. He didn't get a medal in this competition last year. It was actually in Cairo, this Grand Prix last year. Luigi SAMELE with his work cut out for him. He had a chance to chat with his coach, Gio Serovic. And they are back into the middle. A minute goes so fast, Jeff, doesn't it?
It really does.
Can APITHY keep the pressure on the Italian? SAMELE on the long attack. SAMELE lands the long attack.
Okay, now that's 3 times that APITHY has given up ground too easily and gotten pushed like that. I don't see him to do that too much more in this bout. APITHY's feet were moving forward, but his arm was not. Remember, the attack is determined by who moves the arm first, with the weapon threatening the opponent's target, and that was SAMELE.
Straight back into the match here, the Italian, but this time it's APITHY calling for a video review. Your thoughts on that here?
My thoughts are FRA very rarely overturns it. He'll maintain the call.
Well, we get a look at this. Yeah, so APITHY stepping in there with his arm back, didn't start the extension before SAMELE, so hit stands. Three unanswered hits in the second half of the Italian. Make that 4, and he's back on level terms. And just like that, as we've said before, things can turn around awfully quickly in a saber match.
I won't say it's demoralizing, but I will say it's disheartening to work so hard to build up an 8-4 lead going into the break, and in the blink of an eye, their lead is gone.
Yep, you have to reset your mind, start the match again, and that's what APITHY has done. Stepped into the middle, made miss, and then picked up the right of way.
Here's the attack from APITHY on the right. And like a cat, APITHY saw an opening and pounced. Toujours l'attaque de droite, which means it's still the attack from the right. After all the hesitation and whatever was going on, the referee FRA says it was still APITHY who commenced the attack first, and he maintained here. That's the attack from the right.
Just catch that last cut of that action too late in the action. Meeting the blade this time. APITHY has found a way. He went 4 hits down at the beginning of this. Well, everything's level. And again, it's flipped on its head, and there's 4 in a row for Bollard APITHY.
Just like that. Another attack from APITHY.
And a review this time called for by Luigi SAMELE.
It's simply amazing when you have 2 athletes at the top of their game in the semifinals of a Grand Prix, and you can get fencers that go on runs like that, back and forth. 4 touches here, 4 touches there. 5 now for APITHY. Six.
Yeah, this is telling now. SAMELE thought he'd got himself back into this. You talked about disheartening. Wow. Wow, 2 meetings of the blade. FRA is not going to make a call on this one. Basically just a little bit too messy. They were too close to each other. Doesn't even look at the video, just says, no, I'm not going to call that one. Again, finding action with the blade, and it's a great second half. Having started so poorly, Bollard APITHY scored 7 unanswered hits in a row to take the first semi-final here at the Montreal Grand Prix. He will be fighting for gold just a little bit later on here in the ITA Stadium. Luigi SAMELE will be back to pick up his bronze medal when all the fencing is done. Jeff, a bit of a weird one, that.
It was weird, but other than for that brief moment where SAMELE had the 4 in a row to go from 4-8 to 8-8, really APITHY controlled that bout. He was the much better fencer, and he certainly seems to be at the top of the game. He barely looked like he was even breathing hard or sweating at the end of the bout.
Well, you get a good look at some of those actions. That, in fact, was the last one. I think SAMELE knew that he'd run out of options, he'd run out of time, and he'll go off to get changed ahead of coming to pick up his medal. Confirmation that